Hello and welcome in. It's your Tuesday live chat for this week's Farmers Insurance Open Tuesday. That's very important because 24 hours from now, this golf tournament will be very much underway, starting off on Wednesday morning. 2 tees, 2 golf courses. We are going to get after it. So this is your Tuesday live chat. What you'll also notice is that we are always very, very punctual. In fact, we have a countdown from 1 minute out to the 60-second countdown so that we can start exactly at 3 p.m. Eastern time every single week. We are 5 minutes early because I have to be out of here exactly at 4 p.m. Eastern time because I've got to go do the first cut for CBS. So we're going to go fast and we're going to get a lot in. This time is yours. Questions, answers, comments, concerns, whatever you want. Let's fire away. Malat says, hey, Rick, appreciate all the great work from you and Armina. Thank you. Could you run a model for driving, approach from rough, POA putting, bogey avoidance, and a stat of your choice? Sure. Giddy up. All right. So basically everything you see from here on out is my website, rickrungood.com. So let's see. Driving. So that could be a lot of things, right? So that could be a combination. That could be total driving. That could be a combination of distance and accuracy. It could be strokes gained off the tee. It could be a lot. Let's do total driving. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll put 25 on that. We've got to remove our 100 weights from strokes gained total. We will do approach from the rough. Do I have approach from the rough? I don't. However, that's a great idea. I can get that. That's not difficult at all. I'll add that in. But for now, why don't I just do strokes gained approach, and we will do that over the last 36 rounds. I almost did it again. I almost accidentally did around the green again. Right there. We will do POA putting, which is here. And then a stat of my choice. How about bogey avoidance, right? We don't get a lot of weeks where that is super important. Let's do it. Number 1 golfer, Cantlay. Colin Morikawa is 2nd. Xander, Matty Schmid is 4th. Sung Jae is 5th. Jason Day 6th. Cole, Ryan Moore, Tony Finau, Thomas Dietrich roll out the next couple there. Let's just go to his Dietrich question here, because while I've got his name, I'll just click on his profile and see what it looks like. Missed the cut at the American Express. The 2 measured rounds, or the 1 measured round, I suppose, that we got from him was pretty decent. He lost 4.6 strokes around the green. He's generally very good around the greens, or at least above average. That is significantly an outlier. He's had 2 missed cuts recently, but they are both pretty far away from his statistical baseline, which makes me think that he's going to be, able to figure it out. Has he played here before? The answer looks like it is yes. So let's see what he's done here. Missed the cut at the US Open in 2021, which, by the way, if you noticed, I searched for courses because that would bring up the US Open and the Farmers Insurance Open. And then he finished T37. So, okay, that's probably better than I thought. Call it a 5.5, 6 out of 10 in terms of excitement. Can you do a deep dive on Minwoo? Also, do you know if Cantlay still has club freedom? That's a good question. I don't know about that. I have not heard that he signed with anybody, so I'm assuming he probably does. But I do not know that for sure. Let's look at Minwoo here. And if you liked Minwoo last week, you should probably like him a lot more this week. He finished T21 last week, but he lost, a stroke on approach in round 2 at the Stadium Course, a stroke on approach in round 4. That is a little bit of his kryptonite. He's gotten better at it in recent weeks and recent months, but it is possible that his approach play is the worst part of his game. The good news is he's very good around the greens. He's very good with a putter, and he is a just bomber off the tee. So I expect we are going to get a better finish than T21 this time around. And before that, he's just been playing really, really great golf. We're all friends here. What happened with Andy on Tuesdays? The Tuesday show became a lot with the I wanted to travel to a lot of tournaments, and I wanted to spend time getting things up and running on the website, and I needed a day to be able to do that as opposed to pumping out content. So the Tuesday show was kind of just nixed, for lack of a better term. And now Andy took another opportunity on another site. So good for him. Hey, Rick, what is the best website to use for weather? Doesn't have to be for this week exclusively, but do you use the same website every week for research? Are some better than others? Yes. And I've gone down the rabbit hole, and people have tried to explain to me, there are different weather models, and what this model is better at is better than this, and wind and yada, yada, yada. Here's where I go. I go to Weather Underground and I look at the 10-day. The 10-day allows you to go hour by hour to kind of see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what the projected precipitation, wind, temperature, all that stuff is looking like, to see if there are any wave advantages. Being able to see it. So weather's weird because we need to predict the weather on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, right? We don't have the luxury of doing everything in real time. Then I also like Wind Finder. So if you're looking for specifically for wind, Wind Finder will allow you to zoom in on the map, click exactly where you want to go, and get like all the wind stuff you need. The other thing with Weather Underground is it's very easy to choose what weather station that you want to use. I can find the one closest to the golf course, and I can go from there. Curious to see how Finau and Luke List putt at Torrey in past tournaments. Would love a deep dive. Okay, I'm pretty bullish on both of these guys. I think if you're trying to be early on Tony Finau, now is the time. This is a good golf course for him. He is showing enough signs for me, and after I've basically been fading him for the last couple of months successfully, this feels like an opportunity to try to be a little bit early. Here's what he's done putting wise at the South course. Remember, the measured course is only the South course. So for the Farmers Insurance Opens, that's only going to be 3 rounds. He has gained strokes putting in 3 of his last 5. Last year, he only lost a half a stroke. And then he has gained what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 times he has played this course, he has gained strokes putting. Luke List, I'll pull him up, who doesn't matter what level of form he's in, tends to play well at this event. And I think he's in pretty decent form right now. Has not had as good of success with the putter. Obviously, when he wins, he goes out and gains 3.7. When he gained 3.8, he finished T36. He's capable of putting together a top 10 finish without going nuts with the putter, which is what he did in 2021. He lost 3 strokes putting and finished T10. So I'm pretty bullish on both of these guys, but that answers your question there. Thoughts on Nikolai Hojgaard, says Kyle. He might be a ticking time bomb. He broke my heart at Corrales last year, but I think he is going to win on the PGA Tour this year. Let's take a gander. Oh, you know what? I screwed that up. I had his course loaded in there. Let's try this again. There we go. Played well in Dubai, T25, T7, won DP World Tour Championship, runner-up at Nedbank. Wow. I mean, so 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gained at least 10 strokes to the field. That's pretty incredible. Now, they were DP World Tour events, but I'm not going to knock him too much for that. Played well at the Czech Masters, played well here. Okay, I mean, the last PGA Tour event we saw from him was the Zozo, and he gained a stroke to the field. This is a very, very good profile. Only 22 years old, obviously getting better each and every time he tees it up. Yeah, Nikolai probably wins this year. So if we've already talked about, we've got a lot to get through in the next 56 minutes. So already talked about Finau, just going to roll past that question. No offense to you, Dylan, but we've got a lot to do. And hopefully I already covered that. So 2 golfers under 7,500 that best fit the accuracy off the tee model. Okay, well, let's do this. $7,500 or lower. Aaron Rai, I think, is interesting. Great ball striker, accurate off the tee, has had success here in the past. Remember, he was in the mix 2 years ago. That's pretty good. Billy Horschel kind of also pops on that, if you're just looking for pure accuracy. I've talked a lot about Davis Thompson. He would seemingly fit. And I mean, Ben Coles, who everybody, including myself, love, is fairly accurate off the tee as well. So a couple of those guys would probably go a long way. Thigala, a solid one and done pick at Torrey this week. Believe it or not, he's had great success. Here's what we are going to do. So I'm way behind on putting picks in and lineups and all that stuff. So there are a couple of one and dones that I have not made my selection yet. So what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to go over to Pool Genius, and I'm going to use the tool that I consulted on with those guys and see what we can find. So this is a new tool. There are new updates. So golf one and done picks. So you put all your entries in here, right? So if you're in 10 different leagues, you put them all in here. And then what you can also do now, this is new, so you can now save your picks, right? So for the Sony, I know that I used Ludwig. For the American Express, I know that I used Eric Cole. So now those guys are going to be blocked off for me. I know that I don't have access to them. So the way this works is it looks at a variety of factors and more coming every single day. And it says you probably want to use your roughly 22nd best remaining golfer because of past picks, because of future value, because of how big this purse is, we're looking for basically a golfer that ranks 22nd or so. So who does that give us? Minwoo Lee, Tony Finau, Jason Day are definitely on the short list. The way that they grade these golfers put Finau and Jason Day both at a 95. I will tell you, I'm planning on rolling out a lot of Tony Finau. I'm planning on rolling out a lot of Keegan Bradley. The question was around Sahith, who is basically my third or fourth best option. So if that fits you, Rich, go for it. That's why I like this tool. It is unique to your pool, how many people are in it, what you need, who you've chosen, who you still have left. So in a vacuum, Rich, yes, I like Sahith. He's pretty good for me, and I think he might be pretty good for you as well. Go put your picks in. This is free until there is a free trial right now until the Phoenix Open, because we're constantly adding more stuff to it. So you might as well go sign up now, go get your picks in, get ready, and then you should probably just pay for it. It's going to be even more valuable as the week goes on, as the season goes on. I feel like this is a good spot for Grayson Sigg. Okay. I was actually looking into Grayson Sigg quite a bit earlier this week in the short amount of time we've had to kind of roll with this. And I agree that there are a lot of things to like about the way he's been playing. He was able to continue his good run from the fall into the new year. T66 at the Sony, T17 at the American Express, a lot of green in the ball striking categories. He doesn't have one single hole in his game. The weakest part is his driver, but he is still most weeks very close to zero, if not above zero. The around the green play can be a little bit sporadic, but he's gained in 4 of his last 5. You're going to need it around here. Look at how much better this is than last year, right? So yeah, Grayson Sigg, pretty interesting as well. How can I identify golfers that routinely outscore their finishing position on DraftKings points? The easiest way is probably go to fantasy data on the Holy Grail, fantasy data tab on the Holy Grail. And you could look at this a couple of ways. You could either, you could sort tournaments, for example, by DraftKings points and compare it to finishing positions. There is also, DraftKings points gained is not necessarily relative to their finishing position, but relative to their the field average. I used to have a tool called MVG for that, most valuable golfer. I don't anymore. Maybe that's something I could work in. On the Splash one and done, have you figured out how to view player ownership after the tournament has started for the week? As far as I'm aware, it is not ready yet. I've had a call with them and let them know how important it is, and they're working on it. And I'm hoping that any day now it is going to be live. So it's in the works. While you go over and put your one and done pick in on Splash, there is a guaranteed contest, $20 entry, 200 entries. It's tiers. You pick one golfer from 6 different tiers. I already have my entries in. I like this. Very fun, simple, low barrier of entry. That is live right now. Link is in the description, or if you just go to Splash, you'll probably see it over there. But I think that continuing to fill those is probably good because we have it guaranteed now. And I'd like to keep getting it guaranteed, which would be really nice. Can you talk about how you would go about building a cash lineup? I don't really play cash lineups, but if I were, I would go to something like the Holy Grail. I would look at strokes gain distribution. I would see how often golfers are gaining 0, 1, or 2 strokes to the field, having them be a bit more consistent golfers. So for example, I bet you I can find a guy who's really good in cash games. So how about, let me find somebody with a lot of PGA Tour rounds. Aaron Rai. Okay. Aaron Rai gains 1 or more stroke to the field 58% of the time. It's one of the highest rates in this field. However, he does not gain 2 or more strokes very often. He doesn't gain 3 or more, rarely gains 4 or more, rarely gains 5 or more. So he's living in that 1 to 2 strokes gained per round, which if you're playing something where all you care about is the floor, that would be very, very good for you. So I would do that. You can also find the same information on the custom model, which I might have closed. Did I close it? I might have closed it. So you can also see that in the custom model. It is under strokes gain distribution. You can put all your weights on, 0+, 1+, 2+, etc. That is what I would do, but take that with a grain of salt. Shane Lowry is the next question here. Are we running through these questions? I love this. We are making great time. Shane Lowry, coming off the missed cut at the American Express. Do we care about it? Whoops, wrong button. Do we care about it? No, we don't. Because he gained strokes in round 1. He gained strokes in round 2. He was gained from tee to green at the stadium course, and he lost 2 strokes putting in 1 round, which sunk his chances. So he is usually a pretty good putter. So I think we can forgive the American Express start. We see what he's done before that, and it's a lot of good results. I want to see his Torrey Pines stuff, if you don't mind, if you'll just kind of humor me there. That's not great. Best finish was in 2015. He made the cut here at the U.S. Open in 2021, T65. Doesn't really play it all that often. So that's the only concern there, but I'm willing to forgive this American Express. I agree that he's likely to be very low owned, right? I mean, we're projecting ownership on Shane Lowry 11% right now, 11.3%. I don't know if you can see that behind the where is he? Thank you, Armina. $7,900. I was looking right past his name. Can we do a deep dive on Kevin Yu? Yeah, listen, we do. Believe it or not, we probably do more deep dives on Kevin Yu than like anybody in the world. Great ball striker, horrible putter. If he putts well, he's going to have a lot of success. That is what he did at the American Express, where he was in the mix. The ball striking's beautiful. The putting's horrible. If you think he can keep it going, great. I'm a little bit dubious about that, but that's just me. Thoughts on skipping the 10K range this week? I think I'm interested in it. Okay. So this is the updated projected ownership numbers. Everybody in the 10K range is somewhere between 17 and 29% in projected ownership. Now Sungjae and Ludwig are 18 and 17 respectively. So it's not like you're getting a significant discount, but what that is saying is the vast majority of lineups are starting with someone in the 10K range. Going with Sungjae and going with Ludwig is, I think I like it, right? I wouldn't do it in all my lineups, but maybe just kind of do like a 60-40 where I go in that direction, because this is a golf course and an event that has been pretty high carnage, right? So I wrote this up I either wrote it up in my newsletter, which you should sign up for, or I wrote it up on in my stat preview on rickrungood.com, which you should obviously subscribe to rickrungood.com. This is from my email newsletter. So this golf tournament, you get either high-end finishes from the top players or you get missed cuts way more frequently than any other event. So there's a 20% missed cut rate, the 5th highest on the PGA Tour in the last 5 years of golfers who are 20-1 and shorter. So it's just outrageous. There's just a lot of ways to miss cuts around here. And being able to avoid that and start with 2 guys where skill set should be perfect, Ludwig, Sungjae, I do think is interesting. Go sign up for rickrungood.com. Newsletter, links are in the descriptions. Rick, hope all is well. Thank you much. Who is the producer's play of the week? And please smash the like button, everyone. That is great advice. Greg, she has said it is Hunky Tony. Hunky Tony. That's a Seinfeld reference. It's only a 30-year-old show. Hey, Rick, saw you mention Jimmy Stanger. Any thoughts on him this week? Yeah, so I have a lot of thoughts on Jimmy. But the short of it is, let me pull up his stat profile here. He was a little too reliant on the putter last week, which is not going to be sustainable. He gained, 5.1 strokes at the American Express, but he is a good putter. He gained in 2 rounds at the Sony Open before he missed the cut. I believe that he is a better ball striker than what he has shown so far. I've seen him hit the ball. I know what he's done on the Korn Ferry Tour. He had a great Korn Ferry Tour year, and he was on the Korn Ferry Tour for a long time, like 4 or 5 years. Finally graduates, gets the tour card. I think he's a better ball striker than this is alluding to. So yes, he's someone that I think you can run out at pretty low ownership for the foreseeable future. Favorite hole on the South Course? Great question. My favorite stretch is, what is that like? 11, 12, 13. I think 11's the long par 3. 12 is like one of the hardest holes in the world. Goes to the where the hang gliders are. 13's tough coming back. That's a fun stretch. My favorite hole, I mean, most people will say 3, right? The par 3 down the hill. I will say 4, 2 or 4 probably. 2's a good hole. 2 just like, you can hit it up the left, have it work its way back. You have some short little wedge into a small green. That's where Tiger hit one, where it went down and popped back up. And then 4 is probably the most scenic, most gorgeous hole on the course. I'm going to go 2. 2. Not enough people talking about Grillo home game. There you go. Hey, Rick, my one and done league kicks off this week. Always seeking the low-owned stud favorite. Who do you think that is this week? Tony? Hunky Tony? Tony Finau, right? I mean, you look at his, do I still have this up? If you look at his outright odds, right? 3%, which is the same as Jason Day. It is more than Sahith. It is just a little bit less than, I mean, Max Homa wins this thing 3% more often. I know that's twice as much, but it's still not that much, right? And I don't think people are excited to get to Tony when they can play Day, Colin, Homa. Actually, let's just find out. Let's find out what the projected one and done ownership is. We'll go to officefootballpool.com for this. They have a site-wide picks. This is what we've been using for years. It gives us a pretty decent look at it. So we don't have to guess anymore. Jason Day, Keegan Bradley, 1 and 2 most popular, 14 and 13%. Sung J M, Xander, Sahith, Colin, Max, and then you get Tony Finau all the way down here at 8th and 5.8%. So, yep, let's go. Hey, Rick, thank you for the Survivor picks last weekend. Oh, did I? Both players made the cut. I don't remember doing that, but I'm glad it worked out. Noren and Hostler, can I have 2 more sneaky picks? Oh, man. I don't like this. I want to like quit while I'm ahead. Like, how sneaky do I need to be? Let's go with Rio. Okay. I've gotten 19 different people telling me how to say this last name, and they're all different. The most recent one I'm going to go with is Hisatne. Hisatne. The Su's very low. You hit the sat. Yo. Hisatne would be the way that I should say it. That would be one. Long story short. The other one would be Aaron Rai. Talked about him already. I don't know if that is sneaky enough for you, but good luck. Do you think Ludwig is a bad outright bet due to never seeing these greens before? No. Victor Perez is the next question. Sorry, I'm chugging coffee here as we go through. We've gotten a lot done in 19 minutes or 24 minutes, so I guess that is good. Says, I have him not playing since July. Oh, no, Stu. No. You're looking at a site that only has PGA Tour data, because that is the last time he played on the PGA Tour. But you've got to get a site that's got 6 tours. I did not set this up, by the way. You got to go to rickrungood.com. European Tour data, Live, Asian Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, Senior Tour, PGA Tour. Because look what he's done. T28 at the Open Day of España, T9 at the Andalusia Masters, T33 at the Nedbank. He's going all over the world. 8th at the DP World Tour Championship. That's the event Nikolai won. You're missing 10 starts thinking he hasn't started since July. If this is not the best commercial for rickrungood.com, I do not have a better one, right? This is what the commercial would look like if I ran it during the Super Bowl. Thoughts on Michael Kim? Michael's playing a lot better, is he not? Let's do the deep dive on the stats. Let us do the deep dive on the stats. T6 at the American Express in a pretty darn good way, right? 2.6 strokes gained from tee to green on Sunday. He did lose on Saturday. That was his worst round of the week by far. Every other day he gained at least 2.8 to the field. Look at how consistent he has gotten. This is so insane for Michael Kim. No offense, Michael, but he's got 6 straight top 42 finishes, with 3 of them top 18s, and a very, very good stat profile. This is a home game for him. He went to La Jolla High School, or Torrey Pines High School. Torrey Pines High School. Let's see how he's done here, because even if you are a local, that does not necessarily mean you are going to play well. He's played all right. putts these greens beautifully. Tell you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 starts in a row at this event where he's gained with the putter. Results are fine. I mean, listen, they're Michael Kim results, but he's never played this well before. I just had an idea about something that I'm going to write down, and I don't want to share it because I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I just had a really good idea for something. Burns worked out last week. Thoughts on Taylor Montgomery? Oh, man. He's really like screwing everything up, honestly. He is just like playing too well. The problem that I'm going to have is this column, losing 2 strokes off the tee. I'm going to have a problem with his driving accuracy, 161st. I'm going to have a problem with, although, God, this is a really nuanced thing about the South Course and about Torrey Pines in general. There's not a huge difference between missing the fairway by 5 yards and 50 yards. And missing it by like 20 yards gets into the trampled down area, and you kind of get a better lie than if you miss it by 5 yards. So actually missing big is not the end of the world if you're going to miss. I would prefer you don't miss at all. But if you're going to miss, missing big isn't that bad. It's how Leishman won this event. I'm out on Taylor. I'm out. I just, this, we talked about a ticking time bomb earlier. This is a ticking time bomb, right? This has to go the other way. Thoughts on Decky? I'm in on Decky. I bet Decky. I want to get Hideki in very high upside, high risk, high reward situations. An outright bet. Maybe a one and done, trying to make up a little bit of ground. I do not want to do anything safe with Hideki. He is really flushing it, which shouldn't be much of a surprise. But I think that people forget he is one of the best ball strikers in the world. Short game, still very, very good. The results are kind of all over the place. He's had a mixed set of results here at Torrey. He's been in the mix a lot. T9 last year, T30 the year before, T26 at the US Open. He's made 6 straight cuts. He had a T3 in 2019. I have bet Hideki this week, so that should tell you where I am at. Who have you warmed on this week that did not initially stand out? I believe the answer to that is Harris English. So 8% projected ownership on Harris English. He's in between the sandwich of Keegan Bradley and Sahith Theegala. And the way that he's been playing is not quite there yet, but it is reminiscent of the way that he plays when he's healthy and when he's really, really good. And that's a well-rounded game. Okay. That is gaining in all 4 major categories, which is basically what he did at the Sony T10, basically what he did, well, kind of, at the Century T14, RSM Classic T28, BMW Championship T10. Hell of a stretch of golf for anybody, especially Harris English. The thing I like about this game is kind of a grind them out game, especially here at Torrey. Par is going to be a good score. Don't make stupid bogeys. Don't make stupid doubles because you are going to make bogeys this week. And he's that guy. So he is certainly the one that I've warmed on the most. Thoughts on Lanto? I think I'm out. Is there any advantage to playing a certain course first, easier North Course, and then South Course 3 days in a row? As far as I'm aware, there is no evidence of that, right? You'll see the trends that say so many of the last so many winners started on the North Course or started on the South Course or whatever. It would be impossible, or at least very difficult, to isolate the reason for that happening as just that starting course, right? What if a guy just plays well all week? What if, there's just a million other things. So I do not believe, and also with like, they're right next to each other, right? It's not like these courses are, it's not like one is right up against the water and one's 15 miles inland. They are right next to each other. They're going to have the same weather, the same conditions, all that fun stuff. Best pure putters on POA. I believe this is the only pure POA course on tour. Don't quote me on this. I'll give you the best POA putters. Actually, I think I've already ran that report. It looks like this. Don't quote me on this, but I thought, I've got a lot of stuff in my brain right now on a short week, that when they redid this a couple years ago, they changed the greens on the North Course. And the reason that I think that is because when I was there, and I won't divulge who I was with, but someone who I trust their opinion on all this stuff, pointed out to me how, and I could see it, I actually have a photo somewhere in my camera roll, how that POA was growing back through already. Like the person I was with said, oh my God, it's only been 2 years since they've done these greens, and that POA is, you can't get rid of that POA. It's already coming back. So that is lodged in my brain. I'm not going to spend the time to go look it up right now, but there's the answer to your best POA putters: SH, Cam Taylor, Montgomery, Mac Hughes, Peter Malnati, Maverick McNeely, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Let's see what else we can find. I've answered a lot of these, which is good. Who do you like better between Keegan and Sahith for one and done? I prefer Keegan. So just in terms of strategy, I'm running out. I'm not using a lot of Colin. I'm not using a lot of Max Homa. I'm not using a lot of Xander or Patrick Cantlay. I think the purse is too small. I'm using a lot of Keegan. I'm using a lot of Tony Finau. I sprinkled in like maybe one Sahith, one Hideki. That is basically what I've done. I mentioned Bramlett a little bit earlier. This is a course that highlights his best skill set, and his best skill set is like tour best, right? The club head speed, the ability to hit it far. He chews up a lot of this golf course. He can extract himself from the rough. The rest of his game is not very good, but one of the questions that this course asks you, he answers emphatically, and it is why he has had such good results here. So I'm in on Bramlett. This is the spot. If you're going to play him now. Did Nick Dunlap turn pro yet? Not that I'm aware of. Happy Tuesday. Appreciate you putting this out. Seems like a good fit for Svensson. Also notice he's massively improved his play from the rough. Any glaring issues? Let's look. Adam Svensson. All right. Missed the cut here last year, 79th in 2022, 35th in 2019. That's his course history. Let us get rid of that. He's playing great golf, isn't he? I thought for sure he was going to win the RSM Classic. That would have been I called that like 9 weeks in advance. That would have been the greatest call ever. Finished T5, and he continued it. Wow, this is really good. It's a really good stat profile. Why is he not in contention more? I guess T5, well, I think he'd be in contention more. I think we'd see him on TV a little bit more. Hits a lot of fairways. He does hit a lot of fairways. Just kind of looking through some of his other stats to see if there's any issues. Makes enough birdies around here. That's enough. 63rd on tour. That's enough. Just kind of looking at some other things that might cause him issues. Okay. I'm in. I'm in on Svensson, Jackson. The other thing is, so here's the other thing, and I also put this in my newsletter, I think. The short putts are so hard here. 4 to 8 feet and 9 to 15 feet are incredibly difficult. What you'll notice for Svensson is he is one of the best 9 to 15 foot putters on the PGA Tour, or at least in this field. I don't know if that's like, okay, if it's hard from 9 to 15 feet, does that help the best guys because they'll be able to separate, or does that mean the bad guys get helped because everybody's missing them more frequently? I don't know the answer to that, but Svensson's on the list. Are underdogs going to continue the win this year? I don't think so. 3 guys to 200 to 1 or longer to start the year. I think that is, we've been on a pretty good 2-year run of favorites, or not favorites, but short guys winning at a pretty high clip, way more than they should. I think we're going to get back to that at some point. How'd that rain be? Wet? Rain is wet, although it's beautiful in Southern California today. So just bright and sunny. I haven't checked La Jolla, but I think they got all that rain yesterday. I think today it's going to dry up nice, and we'll see. I think it'll be a little softer, right? Maybe the rough will be a little bit thicker, a little bit wetter, but hopefully, I'll tell you what, if there is a perfect storm scenario in which we get preferred lies in round 1, which would guarantee them for round 2, because they will not let guys play either the North Course or the South Course in different conditions. So you basically get it for guaranteed 2 rounds, where accurate drivers and good up iron players who get the benefit of both of those things, Colin Morikawa, just go nuts this week. There is a path for that. Now, When will we find out about preferred lies? I'll guess. I think the first tee time is 9 o'clock. Local. There might be a fog delay or a VOG delay or a marine layer delay. Remember that time it was super foggy there?
Yeah, I do.
8:47 a.m., a tweet from PGA Tour Comms will come out and say, due to wet conditions, round 1 of the Farmers Insurance Open will be played under preferred lies. I'll be there, and I'm going to try to get there early. I'm going to try to get there at like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I'll scope out and see if I can get word if they're going to go preferred lies or not. Is Sahith's driving accuracy still a concern? Yes, but he kind of broke the system here. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is kind of what I was talking about, Chris. So they're POA, but there's this time of year, West Coast POA is not always POA, but I think that I'm pretty sure, especially based on this comment, that I'm pretty sure they redid the North a couple of years ago into Bent. Armina's on the research.
Yeah, I just checked on that site that we use.
Mm-hmm. What does that say?
Yeah, it's last year the North course was bent grass.
Right.
But the South course was POA.
Right. Okay. So as my little brain thought, the North is bent. When they redid the North, they changed it to bent grass. However, I will tell you, and I'll see if I can get a picture of this tomorrow, POA is growing out of that, or at least it was last year. It's so hard to keep it away. And it is budding through. And I have a photo in my camera roll somewhere of it. I'll see if I can find it. Deep dive on Moron. Yeah, let's go. So another ad here. Moron playing on DP World Tour nearly exclusively is really important to know because his last 3 starts are T8, T10, runner-up finish. That one was to Rory. Big, strong, can move the ball out of the rough. Won the Andalusia Masters earlier this year. I'm in on Adrien Moron. With T-Swift taking over the NFL, Taylor seems like an obvious producer pick this week. How do you split hairs between Montgomery, Moore, and Pendrith? Great question. Which one? You have to pick one of the Taylors.
I guess Montgomery from what you've said, but I would just say Taylor in general and then take a win on all 3.
She's copping out and taking all 3 Taylors. Okay, so my bets for this week, which again, don't bet what I bet. Just don't, right? Go do whatever you want. Spend your own money. Here is what I have opted for. I have bet Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, and Tony Finau, 11-1, 28-1, 25-1. That's a little tighter than I would like. It's early in the year. I don't really care. And then Hideki at 60. That is what I've bet. Is this year's Korn Ferry Tour group the deepest ever? Until next year. I've answered a lot of these. Can you rank Bradley, Finau, and Day for one and done and why? I think we've already covered that. What golfer do you think will gain some ownership overnight before lock tomorrow? I'm bad at this. This is why Mike Cavalunas does projected ownership for the site. But if I had to guess, Jason Day. Jason Day at 12% with just elite course history. He's been around and on TV as of late. Doesn't have anything to really keep you away. 34th last week, 10th at the Century. I can't imagine he's only 12%. I can't. So I'm going to go J Day. In season-long format, where a missed cut earns a 0, would you consider playing with a dead spot in your lineup if your lowest owned players to drop are Rahm and Hadwin? I would probably never run a lineup out that is incomplete. I would drop Hadwin. There's a lot of Hadwins out there, admittedly. Any plans for getting your live videos on Rumble? Considering I have no idea what that means, probably not. But if Rumble's cool, let me know.
It looks cool.
Does it? 8K range feels important. I can agree with that. Talked about okay. See, the good thing is we've already talked about a lot of these guys here. Talked about a lot of the one and done strategy. Talked about a lot of the ownership, a lot of one and done questions, which is why I love one and done. It's getting more popular week in and week out, but I think we've covered enough of that, which is good. I still have some more stuff to do, but let's see what else we can find here. Can you please show us the lucky unlucky graph? Yeah, that's not really what it's called, but sure. It's I call it the breakout candidates chart, right? Like, so it says, you know, how have you been putting versus how have you been hitting it? Have you been getting lucky or unlucky? There's Mac Meisner up here in the top right, only has a couple of rounds, so he's really screwing up the chart here. But guys in quadrants that you would want look like Parker Cootie, Justin Lauer, ADDC, David Skins, Chad Ramey, Minwoo Lee, Justin Suh, even Adam Svensson, Ludwig, Matty Schmid, Davis Thompson. Guys in quadrants you don't want, unfortunately, Hisatne. I screwed that up. Is in there. Ben Griffin's in there. Nikolai's in there. So you can see how that chart works. It's pretty good. I'm just going to lump like 9 of these Keith Mitchell questions together, and we'll just look at Keith Mitchell and see. Like, I get the question, right? He had I think it was Sunday last week where he went nuts, and then you know, you think when he's at his best, he's a very, very good driver. Okay, so finished 9th last week, but I think a lot of that was on, it was. Okay, so Sunday was nuts. He gained 7.2 strokes. He's been driving it well, which is not a surprise at all. I do want to see his spray numbers. Very accurate off the tee, 48th in this field. When he misses big, but he doesn't miss that much. Actually, that would be like the ideal situation, right? Don't miss, and when you miss like 30 feet. Don't miss by 3. So it's actually a pretty good. Last 3 events since the RSM Classic, he's really hit it well. Actually, he's hit it well everywhere except the Sanderson Farms. Putters all over the place. Let's do the course history. This might be a guy I'm really heating on. Oh, psych. 4 straight missed cuts and a T63. Why is he not driving it better here? Does his place not fit his eye? Like, why is every week he's a +2, +3 off the tee, and his last 4 trips here, he's gained between a half a stroke and a stroke? Why? Why isn't he hitting it better here? Why is he so bad here? Man, I was like a 9 out of 10 on Keith Mitchell, and now I'm like a 6. That worries me. On the golfer profile page, it seems to be ideal if the orange dots are in the green bars or near the top. No. I don't. It's not. I mean, maybe. That's not really the way that I envision this. I just wanted to give you a way to track the trends of his salary over time. I don't really ever even compare. I mean, I guess that's a good point. I guess what that's basically saying is he earned more points than his salary would. I mean, I didn't build that into here, but I guess that's a good way to look at it. I just wanted to show you the way to see the trends of his salary and the trends of his fantasy points, but that's actually not bad. Rick, dude, you are the GOAT of golf net programs. Oh man, thank you. You being everything golf nerdy programming savant, where do you find time to play golf? Very early in the mornings. I try to be the first tee time out, which is usually, I usually play similar places, 6:57 a.m. on weekdays and 6:37 a.m. on weekends. By myself, I'm done in 2 hours. I'm back. I'm ready to rock and roll. Not having kids helps. That's right. Hi, Rick, our finals. That doesn't even make any sense. And a great way. Why does projected ownership change on the cheat sheet when you swap between? Why does I don't know. Let's see. Shouldn't. You might have just caught me in the middle of a push. So weighted has 29, 17, 23. 29, 17, 23. It doesn't. I just updated it like less than an hour ago. So you might have just caught me in the middle of an update or something. It doesn't, it takes like 15 minutes for everything to run through. Okay, good. A lot of similar questions because I'm 30 minutes behind on questions. Any chance to get a survival PGA up on Splash? Interesting. Rick, give up trying to speak authentic Japanese. I'm with you. I think I need to. 3 picks. I gave out my bets already. So this is fine. What do ACC? Oh, God. I'm currently a 7 handicap. I was down to a 6.5. It seems, from what I can see, only a handful of golfers who mainly play on the DP World Tour have success when they come on PGA Tour courses. I think that's pretty astute. I think that it's mostly when they do the one-off trips, or they come and they play 2 events and go back. I think those are the worst. But when you get guys who get over here and get settled and they're going to play 5 events, 10 events, like whatever that is, I think it's usually better. I may have missed it, but where has Sia Najad been? Just to be clear, Sia so used to be on the First Cut, right? So Sia does a show now in DC at a studio, which we actually saw when we were in DC. It was on TV, and he does like all the football stuff for CBS. So I can't imagine getting golf in there is possible. Okay, let's do this. I got to get to something else here because I still got to. I have some picks I want to go through, but I did tease this on Monday, and I think it would be a little disingenuous if I didn't try to do it here for on the show. So the Patrick Reed way to win this, or maybe even like the Mark Leishman way to win this, would be just an elite short game. Okay, so let's say I probably want pretty long-term form. So that would be like 20 around the green, last 50, 20 putting, last 50. Okay, so there's our short game. Then you could also do bogey avoidance for where's bogey avoidance? It's under scoring for 20. Oops, 20. Then I would say let's go with course types being hard and long. Sure. And then our final 10 on history. This would be like a very Patrick Reedy model. Number 1 is Christian Bezuidenhout, finished runner-up last week. Sung J M, Jason Day, Ben Griffin, Eric Cole, Xander, Sahith, Finau, Colin, Baddeley. It's a Patrick Reed-ish type model when Aaron Baddeley is ranked higher than Patrick Cantlay. But I think it's informative. And I think that looking at this list, maybe to find flyers or guys that are going to fill out your lineups, looking at this and seeing who, when you run another model, like when you run a driving model, I bet you Sung Jae is going to show up as well. So guys that have multiple paths to victory, if Sung Jae hits every single green or every single fairway, he has a chance to win. If everybody has to get up and down, Sung Jae has a chance to win. Colin Morikawa is a little more narrowed. If Colin is missing fairways, it's over, like game over. So I do like kind of looking at it from a couple of different perspectives. Good call, Chris. Thank you. Yes, Steven. Golfer Rules is next. So if you haven't been noticing, there's a lot of new updates to RakeForUnGood.com. Custom model always gets updated. Golfer Profiles got a huge update. I think we're going to call it the tournament tracker. The shot by shot has obviously been updated. And on my list next for the custom model is all those types of rules. All right. See, I thought that too, Risk Nerd, but that is not what native Japanese speakers will tell me. How do you play horses for courses? Guys that might not be playing the best, but have great results at specific courses, venues. I like to see, are there any signs of them playing well coming in? If not, have they played well coming in before? I showed this earlier. Maybe on Monday I showed this, so I'll just do this really, really quick, but I do really like this. I look at this a lot. What were their odds and what did they finish, right? Because the odds are pretty indicative of, hey, this is what the sentiment around them was. Were they playing well? Were they whatever? And Luke List, despite having horribly long odds, basically every time he plays this, has always outperformed those expectations. So like to me, recent form doesn't matter for Luke List when he gets here. That's one of the ways that I look at it. How much sleep do you get? What time do you get to bed? I go to bed very early. I try to be asleep at like 9 o'clock. I wake up at between 4 and 5 usually. And so what does that give me? 7 hours of sleep, something like that. Okay, I'm at the end here. Hardest names to pronounce in the last 10 years. Rio. It would have been a lot of the South Africans, but I use Mark Immelman for those. Christian Bezuidenhout is not an easy one. Sahith it's Sahith, not Sahith. Yeah. Usually Hojgaard. Usually I reach out and ask somebody who speaks the language or ask the player, honestly. Okay. Here's what I want to do, because I want to show you something, because I'm an idiot. Okay. And we are now going to enter the underdog portion of the show. Okay. So we've been doing a lot of the underdog drafts, the best ball drafts, so much so that the scramble, the $10 scramble, is the first one filled already. Okay. So now they're on to the scramble 2, $10 entry. This is best ball. All you do is draft, no transactions, no trades, nothing. Whoever your best players are, they get added to your lineup for that week. You don't even set a lineup. This is going crazy. I've got a spreadsheet with rankings and stuff. All the links are in the description. Go sign up for Underdog. Use the code Rick or use the code in the description. It'll get you a $100 bonus, and we can continue to get them. If we can get a lot more people playing golf on Underdog, we can get them to do a lot more stuff, which is what I want. I want them to do a lot more stuff. So that's out there. We've been doing a lot of those. I'm an idiot and just realized something else today. When you do the pick'ems for golf, you are, and this is not unique to Underdog, you are limited. You can't like correlate. Like I can't go all lower strokes, okay? Because sites have gotten burned on this. This is not unique to Underdog. Everybody does this, okay? So they need to do two things. They need to either add more categories, which they've told me they're doing, so that you can get more of these built, or I'm a dummy and just realized this. So watch this. So hold on. Let me just throw somebody in here. I liked Xander lower than 69 strokes in round 1. I just realized that when you go to Rivals, which is basically just head-to-head matchups, you can put these in too. I did not know that. Okay. I did not know that existed. So for example, if I wanted to say, I think Taylor Pendrith is going to bounce back against Vince and play well, I have him going up against Vince Whaley, fewest strokes. Now I have Pendrith over Whaley and Xander as my 2 legs, under or lower than 69 strokes. I did not know you could do this. This is now game changing, right? Because now we can look at matchups. So now when I go, okay, well, Harris English is much more consistent than Sahith is for 1 round. I'm going to go with consistency of Harris English. And then if I go back to my higher and lower situations, I can say there was somebody. Minwoo. No, there was another one that I liked. Keegan, higher than 4.5 birdies. So now that is an entry, right? So I can put this entry in. Let's just put $20 on that to win 200. Look at this. I didn't know you could do this. Xander, lower than 69 strokes. Keegan, higher than 4.5 birdies. Pendrith over Whaley. English over Sahith. Game changing. Did not know you could do that. So thank you for no one who pointed that out, and I had to find that out myself, and you guys should have helped me there. So, okay. So that is available. Go sign up. Rick, I love this. We got to support this because I want to see everything that comes out of it. Okay. Real quick. I've got like 4 more minutes. Let me see what else we have here. Do you factor miss left versus miss right tendency due to a proportionate amount of disproportionate danger missing left? there's only one, what is it, 16? That like you can really get screwed left. I'm trying to think how much worse left is than right in other spots. I guess left is a little bit worse, but no, I do not. I believe it is too early to burn Colin or Xander. Let's give Rio a nickname. There you go. The suggestion we have from Robbie is Rio High. Okay, I could run this. It says, who are the hottest players within 12 feet on these greens? It's going to take me like 15 minutes to pull that, so I'm not going to make everybody sit here and do that. Let me just make sure I have everything in order. This starts in less than 24 hours. You should go sign up for Underdog. Make sure you get your entries in. Go put your picks in on Splash and enter this new contest. You should go. This is free, literally free until the Phoenix Open. Go to Pool Genius and sign up and put your selections in, and it'll tell you a short list of golfers to play for one and done for your own scenario, not for mine, for yours. Then, of course, my newsletter, free. Run Good Golf. What? Go put your picks in.
Yeah,
No late picks. I'm not putting anybody's pick in late. Go sign up for rickrungood.com. It's amazing. You'll love it. I love it. Everybody loves it. I don't know if everybody loves it, but I love it. Okay. I must go. Mina needs an Underdog remix complete with the barking noise. You guys realize she's barking, right? Like, does everyone realize she's doing the barking? Okay. But we don't, I just want to make it clear that a grown woman, my wife, we're not using a dog drop like a normal human would. It's not Ollie, a real dog. That's my wife barking in the background. So things are going great over here at Run Good headquarters. I've got to go. I'm going to be live on CBS, Golf on CBS YouTube channel in like 7 minutes for a preview pod with the boys. Thank you very much. I'll see you down there. Good luck.